Hello and welcome to this lecture. We just have nothing opened in our Illustrator interface, and we are going to tour this interface and see what's what and what everything does and so on. Now, let's just begin from the top. This one right here, this little bar right here is called the menu bar. It has different menu options that you can choose and look at. Now, if you want to select something, you just have to left click there and you're presented with this number of options that you can use to do certain things. Now, whenever I ask you to click something uh, on a menu bar, you have to click the appropriate menu and then go into it, and you can see these little triangles here. Triangles here, and these triangles mean that there are sub options that you can choose. So when you go into a menu and then a sub menu, and then you can choose the appropriate effect that I ask you to do. Right now, everything is grayed out because I don't have an artboard open and I have nothing, no objects and nothing in my window. That's why it looks like that. And now if you go here, you can see that it says Essentials. This is the nature of the workspace that is presently open, and there are different workspaces inside of Illustrator. I can go to this little drop down menu here and I can see all these workspaces: automation, essentials, layout, painting and printing and proofing, tracing, typography, and web. I can switch to many different workspaces. When I switch to web, you can see that the image trace option is undocked out of its window over here. Now I'll just go back to essentials because we don't need anything more than that right now. Now it just went back to the original alignment and the original layout of the windows. Now over here you have this little rocket button. It says that GPU performance is enabled. Now you may not know what that is when you look at it. I'll just turn it off and show you the difference between when it's enabled and when it's disabled. Now I'll go ahead and open up this pineapple here. Okay, we have this pineapple, and I will select this zoom tool and I'll just drag a portion around it. Click, left click and drag so that you can zoom in. Okay, when I left clicked and dragged it, we just zoomed in into the pineapple. Now this is how it usually works without the GPU performance turned on. Now I'll just go back to my selection tool and I'll just zoom out of it. Okay, now we are zoomed out, and then I will go ahead and enable the GPU performance. So when you clicked on that, the preferences turned up and the GPU performance window is here. GPU means the graphics processing unit, or simply the graphics card of your computer. Now right here it says compatible GPU detected, and it's an Intel graphics card that is here. I have multiple graphics cards on my system because I have an onboard Intel graphics card and an ATI Radeon graphics card. So make sure before you start your Illustrator program, you set your graphics priority to your better graphics card so that the performance will be better. Now I will turn on GPU performance and press OK. Right now I'll go back to the zoom tool and see how it changes in effect. I'm dragging and it's automatically zooming as I drag. That was not the case before. Earlier, what I had to do was I had to drag a box around the area that I wanted to zoom into. Right now, it's just animated zoom. As I drag, it zooms into that area. If I want to zoom into this place, I will drag to this place and I'll zoom back out. If I want to zoom into this tip right here, I'll zoom into that tip, and that tip is focused. So that's how the animated zoom and the GPU performance works. Now let's move on to this side tab here. This one right here is called the Tools palette, and inside of the Tools palette you have multiple tools that can be used. This one we will save for another lecture because I'll have to explain all these tools and what they are. But I guess you're familiar with most of these tools, like the selection tool with the arrow key, and the pen tool that is used for masking, and the rectangle tool. And when you keep on pressing certain tools here that have this right triangle at the bottom right of their corners, if you keep pressing, you'll be presented with different options from which you can choose whatever you want. So you have all these tools here in the tool palette, And this one right here is the control palette for the tool palette, which means that if I select a particular tool, the options relevant to that tool will be displayed on this palette here. Now, as I selected the text tool, the character is displayed, the font is displayed, and the font options are displayed, like the font size and the font color and stuff like that. Now, if you have a smaller monitor, they will not be immediately displayed. Instead, you will just see this character and this paragraph links here. If that happens, you just have to click this text and a whole toolbox will open up and you can edit the settings. So that's how the control panel works. If I switch to another tool here, for example, the eraser tool, you can see that the options changed. So it's a dynamic tool palette and a dynamic control panel that changes with the tool that you have selected. So if you don't see a particular option, maybe you're not with the right tool. And over to the right, you have all these options for color, stroke, gradient, transparency, image tracing, artboards, and all that. We'll deal with all these things later. These things relate to the different tools and the objects that you create inside of Illustrator. So for now, let's just create something new. So go to File and New, and you'll be presented with this new document window where you can name the document whatever you want, like Goofy. Okay. And you have multiple profiles for print, web, devices, video and film, and basic RGB. Now, what's the difference between the print and the web? If you choose print, you can see that the color mode just changed to ZMYK, that is cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. If I choose web, it will change to RGB, which is the basic red, green, and blue. So depending on whether you're going to use a printer to print this out or you're going to display it on a screen, the color profile must be changed. Make sure you have the right color profile. Now you can change the size of the composition or the artboard, not the composition. Artboard is simply what it is, literally what it means. It's just a board, like a drawing board at a draftsman's office or something that an architect has that you can draw on and create something on. That is an artboard. Now you can choose preset sizes, or you can choose a size of your own, and you can choose the orientation as well, that is portrait or landscape. And you can also choose multiple artboards here. So I'll now create 3 artboards and I'll press OK. So you have 3 artboards lined up on your screen. So if I zoom into this artboard and zoom out, or I can zoom into this artboard and zoom out, and the artboards will define the boundaries when you save the image or print the image or whatever action that you want to do after you have created the image. So that's how an artboard works. For example, if I create a rectangle and choose a fill color, let's say yellow, and I will draw a rectangle that's larger than this artboard, and I'll put a small text right here. This will not be displayed. And if I export it as a JPEG, I have this option called Use Artboards. And if I export to it, and then I open it, you can see that the earlier text that I typed, this will not be displayed, is not displayed because this image is confining itself to the boundaries of the artboard. So that's it for this lecture. We'll see you in the next lecture and we'll go more in depth and into detail with Illustrator and we'll start creating interesting things. So thank you for watching. Please do review the course.